What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, for another episode of Rebels with a Cause. Happy New Year, everybody. It is now 2025. We are in full swing for another year of Rebels with a Cause. We celebrated the birthday last week, and this year, it is a brand new year for us all. So, from Rebels with a Cause, Happy New Year, baby. Happy New Year. You know what time it is. It is Wednesday night. It's time for the cause, because that cause don't stop when the clock hits zero. And we still going, and we just going to keep going, because we never stop, just like that slogan says. We never stop here at Rebels with a Cause. Got so many shout outs I want to give. Got a lot to get into in another short show. Next week, I think we'll get a little bit longer. Hopefully we'll get some interviews lined up. But we got a lot to talk about packed in. And as always, that chat box, we want to hear from you. Hit that like and subscribe button. We're up to 78 subscribers. So thank you to the 2 subscribers from last week to now. I'd like to see that number at 100 by the end of this month. So, get it out there, baby. And, if you got something to say, please bring it. Please bring it. Happy New Year, Mr. Mark Machado, brother. I love you. I'll see you soon here in a few weeks. Can't wait. Can't wait, man. And shout out to my mom. Turns 75 tomorrow. So happy birthday to mama. And, like I said, baby, I hope everybody's had a wonderful holidays. Be safe. Tragedy in New Orleans, prayers for those people as well. Got to get some stuff out of the way, as always. Just to housekeeping rules. More than anything, I just want to give that the views and opinions of this program are not affiliated with those of any other organization or of West High School. This is solely the views and opinions of myself, the Italian Stallion, 2-pair Tate, Brian Tate, our coach, the stats man, Shane O'Mac, the RWAC Crew, as we like to call ourselves, Rebels with a Cause. And also remember, if we've pointed something out in air or inaccurately said anything, get it in that chat box, baby. Just tell us. We want to be as accurate as possible, but we know our stuff, and we would never mislead you intentionally. So, got to get that out of the way. Also, want to give some quick shout outs to the gals over at King's Chamber. They will take care of you, give you that royal treatment. If you want to take advantage of them grooming services, get you a tasty beverage there, the girls will get you taken care of there at the Chamber off of the Pike. There's their phone numbers. Give them a call, book yourself in there, and allow yourself to be treated as a king, as we should. And also want to give a shout out to my guy, Alex Thatcher, a class of 2003 grad there at the heart of Marble City, that great brew off of Sutherland Avenue. Definitely go pay him a visit and get you some. It's good any time of the day. Also, got to give a shout out to our guy, Mr. 2-pair Tate's Big Fact Sports Network. Follow him there at 332 Studios. Big groundbreaking stuff, and it's just the beginning, just the tip of the iceberg, as they are going to have a fantastic, fabulous 2025. I feel it for them. And also remember, guys, electrical needs, you hit up our boy, the coach, Shane McGee. There's that phone number. Even if the holidays are over, it's now wintertime, them electrical needs can happen at any time, and he's the guy to hook you up, bro. So definitely give him a call. He'll get you taken care of. Let him know Rebels with a Cause sent you. But without further ado, let me bring on my co-host. Unfortunately, tonight, the coach himself is going to be out, still a little bit under the weather, but hopefully he'll be back next week to bring his opinions. But I do have my other co-host who has started this thing with me. He doesn't need an introduction, but he deserves one. Even when he walks into the hollowed hills and campus of our beloved West High School, show him that love and respect, because he gives his time with all love and nothing but blood, sweat, and tears, baby, for so many years now. But he is the Mr. 2003 West. That's something that will never be taken from him. He is immortalized with that title. So show him that respect. He has been the voice of the running Rebels and Lady Rebels for 19 plus years, baby. That's almost a generation. So when you have him call a game, whether it's basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever, football, you should be so blessed that he's calling it, because nobody does it with more passion. And now he's even added to that repertoire the voice of the Panthers and Lady Panthers in their inaugural season there over at Pellissippi State. Hope they're doing great. Give him a mic. He'll take care of you. He's there to entertain with nothing but love. The great, the one and only. Show him the respect, whether you're watching live or recorded. 2-pair Tate, Brian Tate. What is up, my brother? Happy New Year. What is going on, my brother?
Man, what's up? What's up, man? It was
Yeah,
looking like you
just
were breaking up a
yeah.
little bit. It was like it was going in
Oh,
and out
really?
on
Oh,
your
man.
on your side. It was like it was like it.
Oh, man, I hate hearing that. Shoot. So, shoot.
Yeah, man. But
All
no,
right.
it's super dope. Thank you for that intro.
Always, brother. Always with the love, man. Always with the love. So,
I couldn't
I
hear
mean,
you.
well, oh, you can hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It was
Oh,
just like it was
it was
weird. It was like
choppy.
going in
It
and
was
out. Like it
choppy.
was like delayed. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear you now. Yeah, yeah.
Good, good. Yeah, no, if there's any issues, let me know and so forth. But I want to wish
Hmm.
everybody a happy New Year. I hope you had a great one, brother. I want to always say that everybody's blessed, and that we start out the year. And my condolences to those that have suffered that tragedy down in New Orleans. So senseless. There should be a Sugar Bowl going on right now. I even debated of even doing this show because we'd be right in the middle of the fourth and final playoff game. It got moved to tomorrow, so I'm glad we're still having the show. But my sympathies and condolences to those lives that were senselessly lost last night and throughout the night there in New Orleans, and also just ruining people's fun when it should be nothing like
Absolutely.
that. So I want to say that, but regardless, I hope everyone does have a fantastic new year, regardless of how it started so far, and everything like that, especially us here at the show.
Yeah, man, I definitely do. Like, I just really want to send my condolences out to um the people that were harmed, or and the people that were, what I'm saying, murdered by senseless acts of violence. Just I didn't think I would be saying that opening the new year, and it's just really sad to even say that. It's right now, it's a little bit bigger than us right now, and
Yeah,
we just
it
want to
is.
keep those people in our prayers. Definitely want to keep those people in our prayers, because that's just a senseless act of violence that that doesn't be needed in this world. Like we I just did not expect to be saying that to open up the new year. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? It's just it's very senseless and very damaging to the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. But but we're gonna have a show. We got so much to talk about tonight. I want to give a shout out right away to our West High basketball team. We're gonna talk about them. They finished up runner up in that winter shootout classic that happened in Sevier County. Played 3 games in 4 days. They've played a lot of basketball, and hopefully
Yeah,
it gets them
absolutely.
prepared for this grueling January that's coming up. We'll talk about that. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to our West Rebels football team. They are fundraising for expanding facilities. They've got 147 kids signed up for this football season and not enough lockers for them. They have outgrown that beautiful facility there at the field house, and
Hmm.
they would like to expand it. And they have ways that we can donate. And also, if you want to make a donation and send it to us here at Rebels with a Cause, we will make sure that it gets to the football team as a donation from Rebels with a Cause, so we can make sure that that cause continues for football, as they would like to become the premier. I feel that they already are, but there are
Absolutely.
some other names to be the dominant force that they are in the area, and attract all sorts of kids that really want to come out and play football for West and so forth. So it's a beautiful thing. I don't even think we barely had sometimes 47 when we played two pair, and now you're talking about
Hmm.
147 kids on a roster if you really think about how far this program has come in 25 years. So I mean, it's just incredible. So yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Do want to talk about the West basketball team. Two pair. I guess I wanted to start off. We did finish runner
Yeah, I
up
mean,
in that
this
tournament.
came a long way. Just
Um, let's see here. I wanted to bring up the stat. They played Gordonsville in that first round.
Well,
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me? Okay.
can you hear me?
I can hear you good. No, I can hear you good. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was just going. It was just going in and out. Like, yeah, it was just like it's really. I don't know. Like it was distorted. Like
Distorted.
it's like on a delay or something. I don't know.
Okay. Huh. Okay. Might have to check into that just to see
But
what's
yeah,
going
it
on.
was just like on a delay
A little delay. Okay.
to where I couldn't hear, so I didn't know if you were talking or.
Gotcha, gotcha. No, I'll mute myself if I'm done talking and so forth for sure. But I wanted to talk about this shootout, this basketball
Yeah,
team
it's just
shootout.
like a slight delay
A slight delay. Okay, gotcha, gotcha.
on your side.
All right. Let me see here. Let me see if I'm gonna let you get out. Let me see real quick. Let me see if I can bring you in if that will change something.
You
Hold
see
on
what I'm
one.
saying? You
Yeah,
noticing it?
yeah. Just hold on 1 second. See, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. Let me see if by bringing him on. Let's see here. Is there still a delay? I think there is a delay.
Just
Okay.
like
Yeah.
distorted, like your mic could go
Apparently,
out or something.
apparently, I'm being told by a couple people that it's not so much on my end. It might be the internet on your end. Are you having any internet issues by any chance? Because the everyone's telling me that I'm fine on my end or what have you. That you're kind of coming in and out. Not sure. You see here.
He said my internet
Yeah, yeah, I did because the chat is even saying that,
might
um,
screams. Must be
yeah,
fro.
like it's
Yeah,
your
because
internet
yours
on your
just
end.
your yeah, you just went out. You
Huh.
did you
Yeah, because I've got a full set over here. So let me see here. See
yeah, I do
here.
too. Did you go in and out?
Let me see here real quick. I'm gonna.
That's what I was saying. Did you go like did you
They're saying that it was more on your end than
yeah,
my end.
no,
Yeah,
mine did the same thing.
did it? Okay.
So I'm freezing now. I feel like both of our screens were freezing. So but no, it was sounding kind of distorted. So I'm thinking it could be me. That's why I closed everything.
Yeah. Let me see. How about
Like
now?
all my
Can
other
you hear me okay?
windows.
Do you hear me now? Okay, by any chance? Tell me if that made a difference.
Yeah, I hear you now. Okay. Yep.
Hear me now? Okay. All right.
Now we're both. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me see if you can hear it
It
now.
just like it just freezes for like a quick second.
Okay. All right. What about now? Just curious.
Yeah, it just went in and out a little bit though.
When okay. So interesting enough. Okay.
I mean, it could be my microphone. I don't know,
It might be. It
or
might
the
be.
internet, because
It's. I think it's
it
the
was
internet.
just like it.
Yeah, I think it might be the internet on your end or what have you, but I don't know. I mean, because everybody's telling me that they see me fine and hear me fine or what have you. So I don't
I
know
got
if
full bars.
full bars too. Huh. Interesting. Hold on 1 second. Let me bring you back on. Hold on. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties, guys. It's the new year. What can I say? So,
All right.
can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a delay. Shoot. I wonder what's
Yeah,
going on with this.
yeah, but I hear you though.
You hear me? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we'll press on. Two pair.
Mm,
What are your thoughts on the West basketball team? They did go 2-1 in the tournament. It looked like it really was Devin Martin, Robert Schuler, and
mm,
Garrett Birch that really led the attack in all those games and so forth. I've got the West Gordonville score there. I've also got the score of White County where Schuler had 26 points, Devin had 25. Team shot 66% in a losing effort there in Lipscomb against
mm.
Lipscomb Academy for the championship, fell short, but you still had Devin with 24 points, Birch with 15. What's your thoughts on where the basketball team is right now, still fighting without Reese Clark, and what they're looking like going into this January with a very daunting slate of games coming up?
Well, I really think they look primed and ready. The way they really have started and been getting after it. Um, I really love the way, what I'm saying, Jalen Hill has taken upon himself to be a leader, a floor general. I really love where the bench is coming along. Garrett Birch is just growing with confidence. Devin Martin is showing that he is the best player in Knox County. I think the guy that is really gonna be the determining factor is getting Kevin Jack to finish around the basket the way he's effectively doing. Um, the shooting has became a a big factor into where they're getting those games. Robert Schuler is really coming into his own as a scorer, which you see with the 26 points. He's really he's really an effective scorer. And I was saying that with Reese going down and being injured, the guy that you really need to step up is Robert Schuler. Robert Schuler is got the green light from the law firm of three. Bert Schuler and Dupree are going to make this team go by their outside shooting. If you can combat a lot of those twos with a lot of those threes, the way they looked against Gordonsville, the way they looked against Boyd Buchanan, Tennessee Heat, I thought they really established themselves as a very good basketball team. Devin Martin is the best player on this team. I think Robert Schuler and Garrett Birch and Joe Dupree are the best shooters. And then I would have to say Jalen Hill has been a phenomenal leader. Now the bench in the second unit, Kalu Fofana has been the catalyst for that bench mob. He has been a true catalyst, and I really like the way he's effectively running that second unit to perfection. Like he's really coming to his own as a sophomore, and he's getting looked at by a lot of coaches. Really love what he's bringing to the table, but it really starts with Devin Martin, Kevin Jack, and those perimeter players on the perimeter with Garrett Birch. He's been shooting the cover off the ball. Like Gary Birch has been shooting the cover off the ball. Robert Schuler has been effectively getting to the paint. And just you're seeing a junior running with the seniors. He's gonna be the man next year. They're like Robert Schuler is now assessing roles as being that option when you have a Reese go down. That's why I think the depth of West is really their strong suit and why they can make a huge run at state.
Yeah, and definitely with the schedule coming up, it doesn't get any easier. I mean, next week they've got Morristown West. They've also got a game with Catholic that's going to be at Catholic, and then of course they've got the district play. So it's going to be nonstop
Mm-hmm.
for this team. And I hope that Reese can get back. If he can't get back for whatever reason, I hope that the team just continues to build that bench and that depth to continue because they're going to need the bodies, especially with how they would like to play. I know they like to play fast. One thing that stood out to me in these tournament games, and I have mentioned it, and It's the truth. It's the absolute truth. And I've stated this before. When West does not score over 70 points, we have lost those 3 games or what have you. But when West is clicking and making free throws and doing what they need to do, and they score over
Mhm.
70, they're virtually a lock to win. If we like to say that football team, when they score 30, they're a lock to win, well, basketball's a lock to win if they can get 70 and above. And this team is good enough to do that night in and night out, no matter who the competition is, if they play their game. I mean, look no further than the Gordonsville game. I mean, the defense was there. Devin, Schuler, Birch, really nice spread around the ball right there. The scoring, 70,
Mhm.
got over 70, held a team under 40 points for God's sakes. Then you look at the game against White County in with 1 day's rest, not even 1 day's rest, back
Right.
to back. You put 88 points up there, and Schuler showing what he can do, and a solid 30-point win over White County, and
Yeah,
that
I
was it.
think he coming into his own.
Yep, yep. And like I said, I was not there. Unfortunately, I had to work when that Winterfest Shootout Championship happened. But it was 2 solid teams. Lipscomb Academy's only lost 1 game all year. They're in the private school league, and realistically, that game could have gone back and forth. But at the same time, that number that Wes was looking for was over
Mhm.
70 points. So that's what I'm looking for when they play Morristown West on Monday, the 6th, because they finish out the rest of this week. I believe school's back in session, but we've got a home game on the 6th. We've got a home game on the 8th. And then I believe on the 11th, they travel to Catholic for a Saturday afternoon game, if I'm not mistaken. So they got 3 games next week. And then after that, the schedule kind of goes back to that traditional Tuesday, Friday thing when you play your district opponents until ultimately February when the district tournament and all those tournaments roll around. So it's going to be big time basketball coming up. And like I said, I hope that we can get a little healed up. I'd love to see Reese get out there. I know that he's itching to get out there. He's missing being out there with his brothers and is being as encouraging as he can on the bench. But let's be real, that's 15 points on the bench right there that would get you those wins, in my opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong in anything that I said, too, Pair.
Man, there's nothing wrong in anything you said. Losing Reese, losing Reese is a very vital piece of this puzzle. What he gives you as a defender, what he gives you as a scorer, what he gives you as another lead guard to take a lot of pressure off of Jalen because they have struggled in anytime that they are pressured 94 feet on the basketball court. And when their trouble is inbounding the ball, we saw a couple of passes from Devin in the Bearden game that were just questionable. To where it was some of those press breaks that we're accustomed to with Rebel basketball that just wasn't ran. And losing a guy like Reese has been just it's been really tough. It's been really tough, but they have persevered and coming out of it only losing what 1 game. They've losing the Bearden, losing the Lipscomb. It's not bad. Oh, you're on mute, I think.
My bad. My bad. Yeah, if you think about it, to further that point, Tupper, the injury happened right there in the middle of the Sevier County game early on. So how does that game go different if he doesn't get hurt? Then the Bearden game, So basically, there's a good possibility this team is undefeated if Reese Clark don't get hurt. I would put my money on it, to be honest with you. Because it seemed when he got hurt in that Sevier County game that took a lot of the wind out of the sails. It kind of did, in my opinion. And then, if you look at the Bearden game, you ended up not winning because of free throws and a couple things. I think Reese Clark gets you at least 12 points that turns that game completely around in a different direction. And I know that he's good enough to make this 5-point difference up against Lipscomb Academy, So I just think that we have not had this team lose when they were
Yeah,
the
I
first.
really do too.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things, unfortunately. So, but the other game I
Yeah,
couldn't think of.
I don't think West loses when they're at full strength. I think when
No, no, mm-mm, no, and they got Austin East. on next Wednesday too, by the way. So Austin East comes to West on Wednesday. So we've got Morristown West on Monday, Austin East Wednesday, and then Catholic on Saturday. So that's a solid three teams you got to play next week with just a little bit of rest in between, just to navigate through the schedule. So yeah, a lot of basketball coming up for sure. So um, wanted
Yeah,
to
I mean
ask you.
it's a tough schedule. You're getting
Yeah, go
mhm.
ahead. Go
It's a
ahead.
tough schedule. It's a tough schedule. You're getting everybody's best shot, man. You're getting everybody's best shot.
Everybody's best shot. Yeah, exactly. So, well, we'll talk more about the basketball team next week. Obviously, of how they've navigated through those three games. We'll be having a show halfway through, so that'll be interesting to see. One thing I wanted to touch on with you, because I know some of our viewers are wrestling fans like ourselves. RIP to WWE leaving USA after so many years. It's just an end of an era. They had
Man,
their final
so
show
sad.
on Monday. It is. It's sad, and I'm kind of intrigued of what they do with Netflix. But before I let you talk about it, and we've kind of talked about it, Shane has as well.
So sad.
My question to you is this: they've got a great lineup for Monday's show, and they always seem to always do that for all the big marquee shows, like the thousandth episode or this new show and everything like that. My question to you is: now that they don't have the boundaries of cable,
Hmm.
and TV. I'm not saying they're going to be straight up X-rated. That's not what I'm getting at. But what I'm saying is what do they need to do to make the viewers continue to come back? I mean, these marquee names don't show up every week. You might have an appearance from John Cena kicking off his retirement tour. How many times is he going to be on free TV or this Netflix? My last question is, how many appearances do we get from Roman Reigns? Is he exclusive to SmackDown only? But all the programming is going to be on Netflix now. But what do they have to do to keep us as viewers interested now that it's not just on USA and you have to hunt for it on Netflix?
Yeah, I really think with it moving to um the Netflix, would it moving to Netflix, it's gonna be a crazy transition. It is. Like I think we're gonna get more attitude esque um era of TV. Like it's gonna be feeling like the attitude era all over again.
I really hope you're right with that. I really do hope you're right with that because, like I said, they always have great shows that attract the viewers. But the thing that I've always felt in these last few years, since that Attitude Era and even the Ruthless Aggression Era, you've not had the consistency there to keep the viewers intrigued with the storylines and the feuds. And you also don't have the star power you had back then.
The
That's
viewership.
that's yes, that's just the things that I've noticed with it, more than anything. So, but I wanted to just touch on that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when WWE does go to Netflix officially on Monday. So, one thing I wanted to talk about was the college football playoffs continue. As we mentioned earlier in the show, the Sugar Bowl got delayed because of the senseless tragedy that happened down in New Orleans, and will be played tomorrow at 4 o'clock, 4:15 on ESPN to determine who gets that final spot in the semifinals. But I did want to ask you, what were your thoughts with the Rose Bowl today, as well as the Sugar Bowl? Truth be told, I'm surprised that Texas kind of played around the way that they did. I thought that it was going to be a complete blowout. It looked like that, but credit for Arizona State for fighting and getting it to overtime. But truth be told, man, I'm looking at Ohio State right now, and they're looking every bit of the team that is $20 million that they've paid for coaches and players. This Jeremiah Smith, true freshman kid, is the real deal. But honestly, I think Tennessee did better against them than Oregon did. I mean, Oregon got straight punched in the mouth and really looked like a very flawed number one seed despite going 13-0. And if you're counting, all the Heisman finalists lost their bowl games. lost their bowl games, and they're out and
Hmm.
everything like that. So this also shows that even though you might have a great player, it still takes a team behind him. But this Jeremiah Smith today, he did whatever he wanted to, and Oregon had no answer for him on either side of the ball. So, what was your thoughts on the games today and where how these playoffs are shaping up, bud?
Well, I will have to say that the dude that really impressed me the most in these playoffs has got to be Jeremiah Smith, and then I'm gonna have to say a guy that really turned it up and even a losing defeat was the running back from Arizona State, Scatterboo. He was the MVP of that game in a losing effort. Um, Ashton Genty just let me see a guy that they loaded 8 to 9 guys in the box against him. You knew the ball was going his way, and he still got 126 yards or something like that. Like in his worst game this year, he still was a 100-yard rusher. And I think that's really effective if you're looking at ways of where this dude would fit in on an NFL team, and he's gonna be he's gonna be vital to an NFL team. Like depending on where he would go, he's a plug and play guy right away at running back. Just from what he does remind you kind of Emmett Smith, if there was a comparison. But
I agree totally.
Ohio State, man, looked great against Oregon. Oregon, like I've been saying this, I didn't feel like Oregon was the number one team in the country.
I didn't
I
either.
think the number one, fortunately, not playing tonight. I just don't. I didn't see it with Oregon. Still don't. Um, and watching this game, Chip Kelly is just dialed in. Like Chip Kelly is, it's looking like an NFL offense, pro style. Like the stuff that they're running at Ohio State right now, they're putting their guys in favorable positions every time. And if you're not gonna play over top coverage on Ohio State, you don't have a chance in hell at beating these dudes. You don't. Like there's no way you can beat those guys if you're thinking to yourself that you're gonna run any type of blankety coverages on them. Like it happen. They're winning over the top every time.
I agree. No, I agree. I agree 1,000% because truth be told, you looked at the speed factor. Ohio State was faster. Their running back Henderson, I mean, they couldn't catch him. He went around the end, and even Tennessee had problems matching their speed, to be honest with you, two pair, which I was just absolutely shocked. I thought that we would do better with, who we've played against, where we've showcased our speed at times. And realistically speaking, I'm just surprised that they are looking every bit like you said. You described it, an NFL team. Chip Kelly dialed in. Even their defense has caught up. I mean, that was an Oregon team that was averaging 35, 38 points a game this year, and realistically they got 21, but at realistically some of that points was garbage points too, and so forth, where the game had already been decided. To talk about the Scatterboo guy at Arizona State, you talk about a guy that put the team on his back and almost willed them to a victory. Again, defense did not stay over the top on Texas, and Texas found some holes there, and that's where Texas got the majority of the points when they were going over the top. I don't know what the deal with Texas is, two pair, but if they lollygag like they have these last two games against Clemson and Arizona State, respectively, they're going to get
Mm-hmm.
blown off the ball next Thursday in Dallas. I don't give a damn if there's going to be a huge contingency of Texas
Mm-hmm.
fans or whatever, but realistically, I do want to pose this question to you. Regardless of what happens tonight with Georgia and Notre Dame, I mean, I'm sorry for tomorrow night. I know it was postponed tonight, but right now you're looking at the top four seeds could
Tomorrow night,
potentially
yeah.
tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
night. Yeah, you're potentially looking at the top four seeds not even making it to the semifinals, and they had a bye. I mean, let's think about this. And here's the truth of it: Whose
They
path
had a
as a
bye.
number one
Boise
seed?
State had a bye.
Yes, Arizona State
Arizona
had a
State
bye.
had a bye.
Oregon had a bye. Yes, yes. So and
Oregon had a
yeah, so
bye.
how's Georgia going to do
You
against a
you,
Notre
you got a
Dame
bye to
team?
lose.
Yeah, a buy to lose. Yeah, yeah. And here's the other thing too that really is intriguing. I agree with you. Oregon was definitely not the number one team in the country, but how it fell, they were the last undefeated team and got that number one seed. But I'm telling you, the committee did them no favors by putting Ohio State or Tennessee as the 8 or 9, because I think Tennessee would have beaten Oregon today if they had played. I said that if Tennessee could have gotten by Ohio State, there was a very good chance that the winner of that game was going to beat Oregon in the Rose Bowl. But let's just say for giggles, Oregon had won today. You're going to send the number one seed to potentially play Texas in the Cotton Bowl, basically in their backyard there in Dallas, even though they're from Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you did no favors for the number one
Mm-hmm.
team. And then on top of that, if they had even gotten through that one, there's a potential they could be playing Georgia in the Atlanta, where basically not too far from Athens, Georgia, or whatever. So there's got to be something with the committee from here on out of how they location place these teams, because there needs to be some type of a reward, and there clearly was not a reward. I mean, I'll give you another example. Why was Arizona State sent to um, to Georgia or what have you to play Texas, when if they were the higher seed, they should have been right there in the Fiesta Bowl, being in Arizona? Maybe Boise
They should have
State.
been playing in the Fiesta Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. So they've really not done a very good job. This committee picked 12 teams. Somebody was going to be butthurt, but here's the thing: the majority of the teams that were picked have completely not shown up. They've had ample time to prepare. It is clear which conferences are superior and which ones are not. And they have got to definitely get this cleaned up. I know it's year one, but I think when you're trying to delve into something, and I'm going to let you speak on it and tell me your thoughts. And if I'm off with anything, I'd be glad to, say that I'm off. But it's just that I have not been entertained with this. And it's just like, they've got to do something, because the sport is already on the fringe of being lost because of the ridiculousness of NIL. Players sitting out, players wanting to go to other teams and everything like that. There's no loyalty anymore. You've got a major problem in college football right now. And when you've got Pat McAfee and all these other coaches saying that Nick Saban needs to be the commissioner, I've even heard some grumblings on the college basketball side that maybe somebody powerful like Mike Krzyzewski should be the commissioner for the basketball. That
Yeah,
was what
we do.
Vitale said. To get this shit in check now, because we're losing two sports that we ultimately love, brother. I'm going to let you talk. Go for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're losing a lot in these sports. No, we are. It's just with the way these playoffs have gone. I didn't expect to see the with the bye get. I mean, lose like Arizona State. You had a bye, but you put Arizona State all the way in Atlanta. Like Texas has already played in Atlanta there, and Texas when they went to Atlanta, um, it's like they allowed Arizona State to hang around. And Scatterboo, dude, he is a dude, and he's gonna make any franchise happy wherever he decides to play. Like you get a guy like that, that dude is Christian McCaffrey esque. You know what I mean? That is of that cloth. Like he gives you just a lot of versatility. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Alvin Kamara with guys. A lot of Tyler Warren for Penn State at tight end. He looked incredible. He looks like a first round draft pick, the Mackey winner. He looked all of that. Jeremiah Smith, don't put him out on an island. Like Oregon was getting abused. Oregon was getting abused to the house a lot of times during that game. And it was just frustrating to see because you saw the same lapses against Tennessee that they had in man coverage. You need to go zone against Ohio State if you want to have any favorable matchups of trying to win the game. But yeah, as far as those four teams, well, the three teams, it's been kind of a disappointment. I mean, the ACC didn't even make it through the first week. The Arizona State loses, Boise State loses, and then we have the 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 senseless violence in New Orleans, and we were supposed to have that game as we were doing Rebels with a Cause right now. It's
Correct.
just been it's been a playoffs that has been really confusing, man. Like just on all of the things that's going on, man. It's been really just confusing.
I'm glad you said the word confusing. You want to laugh
And
at something?
Alabama losing to Michigan
You
twice.
you just took the words out of my mouth. No, you took the words out of my mouth. Realistically, you talk about confusing. Did you know that people
Mm-hmm.
didn't even realize that Alabama and Michigan were playing yesterday? I mean, what is going on here that you don't know that two solid programs like that were playing yesterday? Like, like they didn't even realize that
Are
the Outback
playing
Bowl was 11 o'clock. And here's the other thing too. Wh- In years past, New Year's Day, man, was literally 5 or 6 awesome
11 or
games.
12, yeah.
11 o'clock to 11 at night. It was
Mm-hmm.
like New Year's Day. You had, and if one game sucked, you could change to the other. If here, you're locked in watching everything, and
Yes.
that kind of sucks, because in the NCAA tournament, at least you have another game you can competitively go watch or whatever. Or back in the day, before they had TBS and all them involved, they would switch to a
Yes,
more
yeah.
competitive game for whatever region you were
Oh my
watching. So
God. But
yeah, yeah. So I've
it
just not been impressed. That's just me. So yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wasn't impressed because I the letdown the letdown from the letdown from the buys, like Boise State, you just saw got manhandled and abused up front. Like this big time football. You saw what Warren is as a tight end. Like that game made him look like a first round pick, even though he was already gonna be that 6'4", 6'5". Man, this a man amongst boys. But I just really think Bama losing to Michigan twice in 2024 is something we need to talk about. The beginning of 2024 and the ending of 2024. That sends a bad omen to Alabama because essentially Harbaugh ended the Saban era, closed that door, and then Sharon Wright uh, ushers in another beatdown, this time on the Boers watch. And it's just really telling to me, man, how everything has been happening at that university. And I don't know if they'll get it right, but it's a lot of people down in Alabama that aren't happy. That aren't
Mm-mm.
happy at all.
No, that does. This is probably their worst year since Saban's first year. To echo with what you just said, too, Pair. And I'm going to go a step further. You mentioned the conferences. The ACC has been absolutely atrocious. Louisville barely hung on to win the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl yesterday against Washington. And then you look at, let's just be real. You talk about what's their names over there at. Um, uh, 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 who is it? Their Duke. Duke is not even got their quarterback. They're going to get manhandled in the Gator Bowl tomorrow night by Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, and that's a 17-point spread, and that's supposed to be one of your big
Mm-hmm.
games. I don't know how the Notre Dame Georgia game is going to go. I mean, this kid can sling it, but Beck has been their guy all year, so that's going to take a minute to get through. Now, Georgia's defense has been solid. I think Notre Dame's going to have some problems up front. I don't think Notre Dame has played anybody of the caliber that they're going to face tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. So I expect Georgia to win that game, which basically means this is going to come down to the SEC and the Big Ten, which you'd have Texas against Ohio State, Penn State against Georgia, and realistically, you could either have an all SEC final, an all Big Ten final, or a SEC versus Big Ten for the supremacy, which it has been for the last couple of years, ultimately. So I say all that right now the SEC's not done that great in the bowl games. I mean, Illinois and South Carolina yesterday, and that ridiculousness where two coaches almost fought and are still sparring over social media was absurd. I'm just really just disappointed that the playoff window and the transfer portal window.
Illinois and
Yeah,
Burt Bielema
Burt
and
Bielema and
Shane Beamer.
Beamer. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that this whole thing has just been a complete shit show. I'm going to use that terminology, a complete shit show, and realistically, something has to be done with it in this offseason because realistically, the transfer portal should not open up until a team is done with their season. If they want to go elsewhere afterwards, that's fine. And people are stupid if they don't think that people aren't already talking about going to agents and
Yes,
going to
yeah,
their team. Come on, that's all happening. So, but what I'm saying is let these kids finish up with their teams, see what happens, and then go from there. But it should not happen right after the regular season. It's just atrocious. And you get shitty matchups like this, honestly. And people are paying hard earned money to go to these games. These games aren't cheap to go to. They're not. And they're not getting the full
a
team
ton of money.
all year. It's
People
ridiculous.
are paying a ton of money for this.
Yep, exactly.
They're
So
paying a ton of money for a bad product, bad
exactly.
product of football. Like it's getting to the point when you're watching it, you're just disgusted in what you're watching. Um, because you look at the Miamis, you look at just certain teams that would have been
Mm,
better. Like I'm not gonna say Alabama should have been there, but I mean they looked bad yesterday, really bad. Hell, we're looking at an Ohio State team that just really changed after that Michigan loss. Like they became the better team. Like Penn State had a lot of the shit talk from Southerners like us, but we're good enough to compete with some teams, and
yeah.
they've shown that. They have.
Yeah, yeah, they have, and like I said, I mean, it's going to be interesting how next week's games go. Obviously, I'll watch tomorrow. I'll watch next week, and obviously, I'll watch the night of the 20th or what have you. But truth be told, it's just one of those deals where I'm just kind of curious to see what ends up happening. When we do have the game and everything like that. So let's talk about something that we can really enjoy talking about. How about the Hoops Vols team taking care of Norfolk State? They won 67-52 yesterday. They are undefeated. Lady Vols took care of business. They're
Norfolk
undefeated.
State
Yep. So both
undefeated.
teams are 25-0, finished out 24 undefeated, and we're the only men's and women's team in the country that can actually say that right now, and that's pretty damn cool. And both are about to begin SEC play this week. I believe the Vols got Arkansas, and I think the Lady Vols have to play Texas A&M if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be interesting to see how the Lady Vols do against the
Mm-hmm.
SEC, which has been a very, very tough conference in women's
Yeah,
basketball, and obviously men's is a bloodbath right now with the SEC in men's hoops. So, but it's awesome that both teams are ranked. What's your thoughts on how the hoops is looking as we transition to basketball now that it's after January two pair?
well, with the success of having the Chaz Lanier on this squad, like they really, with the overall just play that they've been playing with as defensively, the the one thing that I've been surprised at throughout the whole ordeal with Cameron Carr leaving the team in the situation that he did, and just why he left the team, being the number one team in the country, and you make this decision is a little different for me. This age of player and through NIL deal, and if you're on the number one team, I think you should be happy with just being. You should be happy with being on the number one team, but also understand that you got to wait your turn. Like if you want to play at a big time university like this, it takes a lot of effort and not just what you do offensively, but what are you doing defensively? What are you doing? What are you doing as a teammate? What are you doing just as a brother as they're on this journey to try to get to a Final Four, try to get a national championship? What are you doing as a teammate? And that's bigger than you when you're on the journey to get to a national title.
Yep. Preach is all I can say. Again, you don't have anybody even in football that wants to sit. The fact that you have to negotiate NIL deals and things of that nature to keep people on teams, it's ridiculous, man. I hate this. I miss the days when people waited their turn. Or how about this? You went out there and you did better than the older guy ahead of you and took a spot. If you feel that you're being slighted, show something to the coaches in practice to warrant why you need to play. Because most of the time, if you ain't showing it in practice, how can they trust you on the court, especially when you are with a coach like a Rick Barnes that knows what they're doing, that has been successful. This team was a few bad foul calls away from being in the Final Four last year, and now they're still the number one team in the country, even with who they lost from that team. So again, these players think they know it all, and there's no respect for the coaches too, Bear. There's none whatsoever, or the culture or the identity of what a program's trying to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I really love what I really love what they've done. You know what I'm saying? They have really been impressive to watch. Both programs, the women's program and the men's program, and I think in SEC play we're going to really see fight for a Final Four run. I think they've got all the talent to do so, and I think they'll have the will to match the way Jemai Meshack is playing, Chaz Lanier shooting the cover off the ball, Zakai Ziegler. Everything has been working for them with that lineup. Igor Milicic, what he has been, Gainey, who's been so effective on that second unit. And if you're second there and be effective in getting big wins on the road, such as the Illinois game, I think you got a team that's going to be ready for big time SEC. Now, I will say this in the SEC, the game that's going to be the determining factor for where I think we are as a program is definitely going to be Florida. The Florida game is getting bigger and bigger by the moment that we talk college hoops and college basketball. That is seen as a huge game, and it's going to be one of those games that we look forward to. And when we watch and we go back on the playback, we can say that this is one of the better games where Tennessee begins their march for March is the start of SEC play and this Florida game, because that Florida game last year, that was kind of like Dalton Connect's other coming
yep.
out party for as the SEC. He was putting a lot of guys on notice right during that time.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you that that's going to be the game that's really going to be pretty telling and so forth. And I've harped on this before, and I sound like a broken record. This conference is a bloodbath. I mean, whether it's Florida or when they play Alabama, Kentucky, Auburn. I mean, they're going to get everybody's best shot. And realistically, I could see this league getting 10 bids easily, 10 or 11 bids. Do you think I'm wrong with that statement, two pair, based on how the teams have looked out of conference before they beat the
Mm-mm,
hell out of each other in
I do not.
conference?
I do not think you're wrong with that statement. I think there's n- no. I think that's a great statement. It's a statement that's warranted. I think they are right where they need to be, and they have shown that by the way they performed. They've performed at a high caliber right now, girls and guys. You know what I mean? They've been really basketball, man. Like we're getting really good basketball on the collegiate level in Knoxville, and it's awesome to say that because it brings you back to the days of the Bruce Pearl era and Pat Summit and crazy enough, Bruce Pearl is doing an incredible job in Auburn. The way they've looked very impressive. Number two team in the country, and I feel like we're going to have to see them some way, shape, or form throughout SEC play and maybe in the SEC tournament, or who knows, even in the NCAA.
Oh, I agree with that. And, I'm just looking at Tennessee's schedule on the men's side real quick. Got Arkansas on Saturday here, at Florida, like you mentioned, next Tuesday, at Texas, Georgia at home on the 15th, at
Mm-hmm.
Vanderbilt on the 18th, Mississippi State at home on the 21st, and then setting up that big Auburn Tennessee showdown on the 25th at Auburn Saturday night 8:30 on ESPN. I'm sure game day will probably be there if both teams are still undefeated and ranked 1 versus 2. But I just say that you're just gonna it's a bloodbath every night, and you're going to have to bring it every night, and hopefully the health of the team stays where it's at, because you can ill afford to lose players with a slate like that, especially when you don't have an easy game at all with the team names that I just named.
Yeah, man. With those teams you just named, yeah, it's looking like that, man. The Arkansas game is going to be telling. Florida, I think Florida is going to be a big test. I think Florida is going to be a huge test in where they're going to be going. Is looking at this Florida game. This Florida game means a lot when it comes to SEC play and national play as well.
Hmm. And it's on the road. It's a true road test that's going to be very, very in a hostile atmosphere. But Tennessee's done well in past years, beating Florida down there. But they do have a solid team this year, and hopefully the Vols can get it done big time by next Tuesday and so forth. So yeah, for sure. So yeah. Two pair, I know that we had a quick show. We had a lot to pack in there.
Yeah, I really did. I can't wait to watch this game.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and realistically, I just I know we wanted to have a short show tonight and welcome everybody to the new year. And next week we'll have another show and talk more about the Rebels basketball. Hopefully Shane will be able to be on. We can talk some West football with that schedule next week and get into it to see who they're playing. Talk more about the fundraiser. But how would you like to go on ahead and wrap up this show, brother, and so forth? Because I thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule that we had a quick one tonight on New Year's Day night and so forth.
Oh man, it was great. It was a great show, man. We really got to it. A lot of great things, a lot of basketball to talk about. What I'm saying, on the Pellissippi State side, on the west side, UT. And, we're into that time of year new season, and then baseball is going to be right around the corner. Like baseball is coming up very quickly. What
Yeah,
people don't realize, and a lot to do with the getting the West High expanded on the facilities. Man, getting those facilities expanded for that's so huge for just the city and for our school. So we definitely want to just be contributing and helping donate any way possible to get this done.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, close us out, my brother. We want to wish everybody a happy new year. Rebels with a cause. That cause don't stop when the clock hits zero. We'll be back next week. But two pair, finish us out, brother, like always.
All right, man. You know what it is, man. Throw your dubs up in the air, and chicken grease, and you know what I'm saying. Make sure that you are a rebel with a cause. We appreciate everybody that you know what I'm saying. That was in here for the time that you were in here. Excuse the technical difficulties. We'll work better to improve that next week. About.
Absolutely. Go Rebels.